All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. This is the interview for. We have a powerful interview planned for you this morning. I'm excited about this information that you're going to hear because it's absolutely saving lives. As you heard, we have probably over 1,000 people on the phone with us this morning. And why is that? It is because people want to feel better. They want to live younger, longer, naturally. They want to be well and their families to be well too. And so with that said, folks, it is my privilege to bring to the floor someone that I just say is a true crusader. You know, this man comes from the heart. He is setting it up for all of us to get this information, guys, because he truly cares about people, and he understands that people are getting results from the information that you're going to hear this morning. Their lives are being extended. Their quality of life is getting better, folks. And so he would do this for free because it's all about helping people. So I'm going to bring to the floor, the next voice that you're going to hear is none other than that of the awesome Andre Vaughn, Senior Vice Chairman, Marketing Director with Longevity, who will be interviewing DrJoel Wallach this morning. It's all yours, Andre.
I appreciate that, booming, and good morning to the whole United States of America and the whole world, because I can tell you, people are getting on this line to hear this 90 for Life crusade. I can tell you we have the best in the business. Please make sure as you're listening, take great copious notes while Dr. Wallach is giving this information. This same information that you're going to hear has literally changed my life for the rest of my life. It's changed my family's life, and it's saved some lives that they should have been dead, but because of his message about 4 months ago when I heard him the first time, that he's really changed the scape of what we do today. And so I'm fired up to have my good friend, my godfather, as I like to say, of DrJoel Wallach. So Dr. Wallach, thank you for joining us on this call at 9 a.m. where I am. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, thank you, Andre. Thank you, Boomy. It's always an honor and pleasure to be with you. Appreciate your hospitality. And together, we with 90 for Life, Longevity, we can save the world. We can save America, certainly, and that's what makes this fun. We can save America, and we are going to help people earn a great deal of money in doing it.
Oh, awesome, Doctor. Well, I can tell you, I'm getting right in. We have thousands of people on this line today, but I'm not going to assume that they know your background. If you can share a little bit about your background, Dr. Wallach, and exactly some of the key folks that you've helped during your 40-year message, and then we're going to get right into the interview.
Well, just very briefly, the thing that makes my view different, Andre, is that I have a degree in agriculture. My major is in animal husbandry and nutrition. My minor was in field crops and soils. I also have a degree in veterinary medicine. I'm a postdoctoral fellow in comparative pathology, having done thousands of animals and human autopsies, millions of chemistries, special slides looking for nutritional deficiencies and pollution problems. Went on to become a naturopathic physician as a primary care physician since 1978. 35 years have been treating people with nutrition, and it come together very well to the point where we pretty much know the answers for the typical diseases that historically have been thought to be genetic for all communities, certainly the black community. We found that, no, these aren't genetic. They're simple nutritional deficiencies, a little bit of lifestyle change, supplementation with the 90 for Life, things get better, and we can save America.
Wow, and I'm telling you, I'm getting right into it. And one of your many passions why you got your doctor in the first place is because you were judging the medical system, and you said you didn't like what was going on. Now, if you could rate the medical system and why you're so passionate about getting this information, this 90 for Life message out to everyone on this line, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, briefly, if you look at the U.S. medical system, which is supposed to be the best in the world, we spend more money each year as Americans. We spend more money each year than all the other nations of the world combined. Not more than any nation, more than all nations combined. And what do we get for that amount of money? We're talking trillions of dollars a year. We rank 92nd in healthfulness. There's 91 other nations whose peoples are healthier than us. We rank 60th in longevity. There's 59 other nations who live longer than us. God forgive us, Andre. We rank 41st when it comes to live births and first month survivability of our babies. We've done a better job with animals. We actually have eliminated all birth defects with preconception nutrition. Using that same principle for humans, we can eliminate every birth defect you can name and 10 times that many birth defects you can't name in Americans. We can just eliminate them. There'll never be another child born with any birth defect and have the need for special needs programs anymore. We can add 35, 55, 75, 100 years of life to each American if they would simply do these lifestyle changes and add the 90 for life to their daily regimen. These are not the optional nutrients. These are the essential nutrients. We've tripled the lifespan of dogs and laboratory animals using these principles, and I believe we can certainly do it for humans.
Wow. And I can tell you even gave us a task to go into the grocery store and to look at dog food, and we noticed that dog food had more nutrition in it than baby food. And I said...
Well, exactly, Andre. In fact, the Food Chemistry Journal just came out this month, April 16th. This is the premier journal when it comes to analyzing food just right off the farm and analyzing food that is prepared food like Gerber's, Enfamil, baby formulas, Similac. And they said after analyzing 8 different prepared baby foods, none of them provide more than 20% of the baby's needs. They're all less than 20% of what the baby needs for a healthful life. That's scary. Yeah. 1/5 of what a baby needs is what's in the prepared baby foods. And so we have a huge problem here. And, of course, when I was a kid, there was no such thing as autism and ADD and ADHD. In 1980, there was 1 out of 150,000 kids in America with autism and ADD and ADHD. In 2003, it was 1 out of 150. 2008, it's 1 out of 80, and today it's 1 out of 54. They're predicting by 2025, it's going to be just about every kid in America, certainly 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10, is going to be born with ADD, ADHD. And that's because of the lack of nutrients in their food and too much sugar in their diet. And it's really criminal that this is going on. Where are the OBGYNs? Where are the pediatricians?
Wow. And it's so funny, Doc. We've been spreading the 90 for Life message, and, trying to tell someone who's never heard of your concept. Sometimes they say these certain things, Doc. Oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm healthy. I'm supplementing. I don't know what supplement means. If you can share, I don't want to overdose on medicine. Can you share the difference between medicine and nutrition, vitamins?
Okay, that's a great principle, Andre. Thank you. The principle is that nutrition does not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. That's why we have areas on Earth where people live to be 90, why there's peoples on Earth that have 40 times 100-year-olds we do here in America, because mineral nutrition, which makes up 2/3 of the human nutritional needs, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, 2/3 of our essential nutrients are minerals. And nutritional minerals, Andre, do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ripple ice cream. And some people, just by dumb luck, get some. And other people, no matter how good a Christian you are, and you go to church every Sunday, you're the choir director, you do all kinds of great projects for humanity, and you die at 42 of a heart attack. And that's because you're not getting the nutrition that we need to have to maintain our bodies. The only way that you can actually guarantee you, and even more importantly, your kids and grandkids, are going to get the nutrition we and they need is to supplement with the 90 for Life. This is how we've tripled the lifespan of dogs. We've eliminated 900 different diseases in dogs that still plague people, including all birth defects. And it's really a tragic thing that we treat our dogs better than we treat our kids.
Now, Doc, one of the major things that every time I hear you talking to someone, you always say, get rid of the bad stuff. Get rid of the bad stuff. You can add 25 years to your life if you just get rid of the bad stuff. And so if you could just share what you mean by get rid of the bad stuff so folks can at least add 25 years to their life just by logging into this call.
Okay, that's one of the best calls they'll ever be on is this one, Andre, because, again, if they follow these principles of eliminating the bad stuff, they will be able to add 25 to 50 healthful years to their life. And the bad stuff are things that we know, drop dead certain like gravity, that they will actually increase your risk of cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, and so forth. We're talking about the sources of free radicals. We're talking about, for instance, trans fatty acids. Trans fatty acids are oxidized oils. If you cut an apple in half, Andre, and look at the cut surface in 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, the apple will turn brown. And that's because the oils in the apple are oxidizing. Now, apples only have 0.000000001% oil in them. They don't have much oil in them. You can actually see the oil oxidizing with your naked eye. And the same thing is happening to all the oils we think of as being healthy. We think of them incorrectly as being healthy. We're thought to be healthy, but they're not. We're talking olive oil, coconut oil, sesame seed oil, sunflower seed oil, soy oil, any oils we use for salad dressings, cooking oils, canned fish packed in oils, margarines, mayonnaise are very, very bad because they oxidize. Even in the refrigerator, it just slows it down a little bit. Even in the freezer, it just slows it down a little bit. Room temperature is very bad. Heating them up, in microseconds, they turn into trans fatty acids. When you fry in things like animal fats or burn animal fats, cook your meat well done, or eat barbecue and eat the burnt fat, these are called heterocyclic amines, and superheated carbohydrates like toast, French fries, these kinds of things, or even baked goods where the surface, the crust is browned. These are called acrylamides, and these three substances, trans fatty acids, heterocyclic amines, and acrylamides, are the causes of blocked arteries. Elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides do not cause any blocked arteries. They do not cause stroke or heart attacks. That's one of the greatest frauds ever perpetuated against humanity. Elevated blood cholesterol and triglycerides do not cause any disease. And it's a huge waste of money to lower your cholesterol. It's kind of like putting a piece of masking tape over the red warning light in the dashboard of your car, cutting the wire to the red warning light on the dashboard of your car. It doesn't do anything to stop the engine from burning up. Lowering your cholesterol does not stop your body from plugging the arteries. Cholesterol doesn't plug your arteries. It's fried foods, burnt fats, well-done cooked meat, processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, and oils. Just by giving those things up, we're talking fried fish, fried chicken, fried shrimp, we're talking about fried potatoes, fried eggs, chicken fried steak, fried eggplant, stir-fried organic vegetables. That's why, Andre, there's no second and third generations of happy colonies of vegans with laughing kids running around the village, right? And if that were the perfect way of life, the whole world would be full of vegans. But the problem is when they cook with olive oil, they cook with sesame oil, they cook with coconut oil, these oxidized oils clog their arteries. I actually wrote an article on this in 1971, and everybody thought I was a nut. Well, if you look at the cover articles in Time magazine, I believe it was February 2004, said the new theory on the cause of heart attacks and cancer, inflammation, and it's caused by eating fried foods and processed meats and oils.
Wow, Doc. And I can tell you, just when I learned about cooking your meat well done and medium well, that women increase their chance of breast cancer 462%. And when I heard that, I said, man, they've always taught me to cook my meat well done or medium well, and even restaurants, Doc, that they tell you, oh, no, we have to cook your meat well done. And so now we get up and leave and say, no, you're not going to kill me, and I know about it. And so I'm just so glad of your 40-year message, Doc. We're about to get down and dirty and really get into some of the things that's plaguing our communities. But before I even do that, Doc, you've dealt with a lot of high-profile people that you've helped over the last 40 years. If you could just share a few people such as Dr. Creflo Dollar, Theo Ratliff, and Coretta Scott King, all these individuals that you've helped, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Sure. Okay, as you say, Coretta Scott King, Andrew Young from the Civil Rights Movement, Evander Holyfield with his heart problems, and we had Theo Ratliff with all his musculoskeletal stuff, got him back playing for another 12 years when the orthopedic surgeon said his career was over. Delisha Jones, 3-time gold medal winner in the Olympics, the women's basketball team, Delisha Jones. She calls me just about every week from Spain during the off-season, wanting to micromanage her diet system and her supplement program. And then we're talking Willie Nelson, also Johnny Cash. There are so many of these people, athletes from every sport, hockey, football, basketball. In fact, Shaq O'Neal, one time he ran out of rebound. He actually paid for a associate to carry a case of rebound on their lap in the airplane to get to him because he wouldn't play without rebound. And so we're very excited about these guys. And, of course, mayors of communities, very famous pastors all across the country, mayors of every town you can think of, judges, people who are leaders in the community. Get them off the heart transplant list. Get them off the kidney transplant list. Get them off of dialysis. These things are actually quite simple when you look at them from a different view. You have to appreciate, Andre, that with the exception of antibiotics, which can actually kill bacteria when you have bacterial pneumonia, when you have strep throat, antibiotics do cure diseases. With the exception of antibiotics, there's not a single prescription drug, and there's 250,000 of them in the PDR available for doctors to write prescriptions. With the exception of antibiotics, there's not a prescription drug that cures a disease. All prescription drugs, except antibiotics, treat symptoms, reduce symptoms, and, of course, turn the individual, the patient, into a milking machine, turn them into a ATM machine to just keep spitting out money. There's no law requiring a doctor to cure you when there's a cure available. There's no law requiring a doctor to teach you how to prevent disease when there are preventions available. And so I believe that we as parents and grandparents have to take up that position and begin to take care of ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, nieces and nephews, because it's just been a tragic thing, and it actually should be insurance fraud. It should be insurance fraud. There should be a lot of doctors put in jail because they knowingly milked the system. In fact, there's a big Senate committee release in November of last year. The Senate committee came out and said the medical doctors game the insurance system, game Medicare. They overuse it. They'll bill 10 different ways to get paid 10 different ways for doing a single procedure.
I know you got some people bowling on this line, but I heard you mention athletes, and I want to get right into this, and we're going to go fast and fierce. But, athletes, they work out, and you have so many people that stay in the gym, and they think they're more healthier than a couch potato. And I heard you said that a couch potato has a longer life expectancy than someone who works out, or athlete, or somebody who exercises. Doc, and when you said that, a lot of people were like, what in the world? That wasn't logical. But if you could explain your theory on that, that'd be greatly appreciated. And athletes, please listen up.
Okay, well said, Andre. It is absolutely true. When you take all professional sports combined, the average lifespan is 62. When you look at professional football players, the sports medicine doctors up in Canada did a study combining the average lifespan of American and Canadian football players, professional football players, and they said the average lifespan was 55, and the insurance companies didn't like that, so they did their own study on professional football players, Canada and the United States combined. They said, no, the average age of 55 is not correct, it's only 51. And athletes do die younger. In fact, there was just a 12-year-old kid a couple of days ago died of a cardiomyopathy heart attack. Last year, Wes Leonard from Michigan died of a cardiomyopathy heart attack at age 16. Reggie Lewis, the 28-year-old captain of the Boston Celtics, died at 28 of a cardiomyopathy heart attack. Rolanda Pierce, 19-year-old girl, wonderful basketball player, 6'5", Florida State University, died halfway through her freshman year of a ruptured aneurysm. Cardiomyopathy heart attacks are due to a selenium deficiency. Ruptured aneurysms are due to a copper deficiency. The Center for Disease Control says each year in America, somewhere between 75,000 and 100,000 young people under the age of 30 drop dead each year while exercising. And this is caused by sweat. And sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup that contains all 90 essential nutrients. If you're just drinking water to rehydrate, if you're drinking Gatorade with 2 nutrients, if you're drinking something like Mountain Dew with 1 nutrient, phosphates in it, if you're drinking Arizona tea with none, the nutritional reserves in your body drop very quickly when you're sweating out the soup of nutrients. You're replacing it with water or Gatorade. As a result, athletes are more prone to nutritional deficiency, sudden death, 75,000 to 100,000 each year in the United States alone, according to the Center for Disease Control. Now, librarians, on the other hand, they have a very high rate of 100-year-olds because they sit in an air-conditioned workplace. They rarely sweat, and the students are moving the books around. They don't lift anything. And so they're more likely to live to be 100 than a professional athlete out there working hard, exercising, who have paid personal trainers, they have paid nutritionists, they have their own personal physicians, they have team physicians. And I'll tell you a horrible story really quickly, if I may. I was in Atlanta, Georgia several years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, and was invited to give a 30-minute talk to the members of an LA fitness center in Atlanta, Georgia. They wanted to make Rebound available to the members of this fitness center, LA Fitness Center. And halfway through my lecture, this beautiful young woman, and she must have been wearing $1,000 tutu. I mean, she was gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous. She could have been a cover girl. And she actually did the conga dance singing out of my lecture saying, "Oh, Dr. Wallach, it's not nutrition that's going to keep you alive, it's aerobics." And half the people in that room were her clients because she was a personal trainer. They conga danced out with her. 2 months later, I started getting hundreds of calls from Atlanta wanting Rebound. I said, what on earth is going on here? Why are they calling me? Well, I talked to local people, and a month earlier, she had died at noon at age 32 on the treadmill, dropped dead from a cardiomyopathy heart attack on the treadmill, and everybody was in such shock, nobody turned the treadmill off, and it actually just sort of peeled her like an apple even before the EMTs got there. It was just a terrible story. And it just goes to show you, no matter how healthy you think you are, no matter how gorgeous you are, no matter how rich you are, if you don't take care of your body physically and spiritually, you're not going to make it. The average lifespan of billionaires following the doctor's advice is 66. The average lifespan of a medical doctor in America, according to their own study, is 56. Not a good group to follow.
Wow. And Doc, one of the things that impressed me about you is that you broke down Michael Jackson, you broke down Stephen Jobs, you broke down exactly what happened. And if you could just go over that, and we're going to get into some of the ailments, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Sure. Well, Michael Jackson, I believe, had gluten intolerance. He had whole body vitiligo. You know, he was a very dark black kid when he was a child. And as he got older, he got lighter and lighter, and there were rumors floating around that he was bleaching himself to look white. And he wore a wig the last 20 years of his life. His hair was snow white because he couldn't absorb copper. Copper deficiency causes vitiligo, lack of skin pigment. It's not a genetic thing. You see it in all races. It's just very dramatic in darker-skinned people. And we know he had lupus, he had arthritis. He wore that wrist brace because he had carpal tunnel syndrome, and he jeweled it up because he wanted kids to think it was part of his costume because he didn't want them to see him disabled. And he would go on the field tour and do a great tour for, say, a month or two. He'd have to come home, be in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and be fed IV for a couple of months because he was so exhausted. And this just fits the perfect pattern of somebody who can't absorb nutrients because he had, again, gluten intolerance, which changes your intestines. It makes your intestines look like you've been eating poison ivy for salad. And the reason why I believe Dr. Murray was tempted to give him injectable painkillers was because he could not absorb painkillers. He could take a lot of painkillers orally, and they didn't work for him because he had gluten intolerance and these negative changes in the intestines. All that we would have to do to have Michael Jackson alive today was to get him on a gluten-free diet, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats, get him on this gluten-free diet, and then make sure that he got the 90 for Life nutrition, and Michael Jackson would be here today. It's just unfortunate that he chose a ignorant and careless doctor.
Wow. Well, Doc, I can tell you, one of the major things that's prevalent around my family was the diabetes. It's a conception of diabetes. We know now it's a blood sugar imbalance, but if you could speak to that, your success with the blood sugar imbalance.
Okay. Well, diabetes, Andre, is long thought to be a genetic disease in many racial groups, particularly in the black community, and it's really just a simple mineral deficiency. We've known this for, 60 years, that type 2 diabetes, which makes up 99.9% of the diabetic population, is a simple deficiency of minerals. And again, there's no law requiring doctors to cure you when there's a cure available. There's no law to require doctors to teach you how to prevent diabetes when there's a prevention available, and they don't. And as a result, the black community has more limbs amputated than the white community. More black people develop type 2 diabetes. More black people die from type 2 diabetes than any other race, not because it's genetic, but because they've been convinced that it's genetic. It's a simple mineral deficiency. We get people weaned off their medication usually in 2 to 14 days. Sometimes, especially if they have gluten intolerance, it takes time for their intestines to heal. It might take 30 to 60 days to wean off their medication. The longest I've ever had to take was 3 months to get them off of their medication, go back to a normal life. And when you have elevated blood sugar, Andre, this is not diabetes. Elevated blood sugar is just a symptom of these mineral deficiencies. What happens is, when you have type 2 diabetes, is that the cell wall of every cell in your body is damaged by this inflammation from fried foods, processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, and oils. The cell wall is supposed to be semi-fluid, just like the Stargate in the Stargate movies. It's almost supposed to be like a liquid salad dressing. And then that allows good stuff to come into the cell and bad stuff to get out of the cell. When you're eating fried foods, processed meats with nitrates and nitrites and oils, it turns these cell walls into trans fatty acids. You see it in some people as liver spots and age spots. The substance is actually called ceroid lipofusin, and it's very solid like margarine. And the good stuff can't get into the cell, including sugar, so it backs up. Cholesterol can't get into the cell, and cholesterol is a very useful part of our nutrition, and it backs up and raises up. And lowering blood sugar with insulin or pills doesn't solve the disease. You're still going to die of the disease. You're still going to get your feet cut off. You're still going to get your legs cut off. You're still going to go blind. You're still going to die 25 years early. So what you have to do is get on a diet, get rid of the offending factors, get rid of the bad stuff, no fried foods, no processed meats with nitrates, nitrites, no oils, get on a gluten-free diet, and you'll heal those cell walls. And then the secret sauce, when you take the Mighty 90, the 90 for Life program, according to body weight, the secret sauce we call Sweeties will support and promote healthy metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and sugars at the cellular level. It will support and promote healthy blood sugar, healthy cholesterol levels. And by the way, healthy cholesterol levels are 220 to 270. Do not let anybody ever talk you into getting onto cholesterol-lowering drugs, and we can talk about that if we have time too.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have time. We're going to free some people. We're going to have time. At the end of the day, your job will still move on if you did. So we're going to take our time with this one. The next topic, and Doctor, I'll call it criminal for you just to tell me the longest that you've ever had to help with people's blood sugar imbalance was 3 months. And you have people that have been on the same drug for 12, 30 years, and they just keep let the doctors use them as ATM machines. And I've seen it with my own two eyes over and over and over again. And so God bless you with that. Now, next, I want to go right into arthritis. I've seen you do some major things when it comes to arthritis. If you can just share a little bit about the calcium deficiency and arthritis, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay, well, thank you, Andre. When it comes to arthritis, bone-to-bone arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, back problems, degenerative disc disease, sciatica, restless leg syndrome, numbness, tingling of your feet and your hands and so forth, even atrial fibrillation, irritable bladder, all these things are caused by mineral deficiencies. Bone-to-bone, again, rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is an infection with a bug called mycoplasma. Most people who have rheumatoid arthritis also have osteoarthritis. And the most ignorant people in the world when it comes to arthritis and back problems are orthopedic surgeons. They know nothing about the disease. They only know mechanically how to be a carpenter. They know how to take out your knees and put in an artificial knee. But that doesn't solve the problem. The bones will continue to degrade and lose health and lose minerals, lose matrix, and you will still have major problems every 6 months, every year. And you see people really not happy a year into their knee replacements because the doctor never told them, oh, you're going to have to get the new knee replaced every couple of years because your bone continues to go away, and those screws in there wallow around and cause a lot of pain, so they have to put bigger screws in, bigger bolts and nuts, change the parts out, but the doctors never tell them that. Doctors, the benefit of the doubt, and assume they're just ignorant, because if they knew this and they still ask people to get their knees replaced, their hips replaced, get back surgery, fuse their vertebrae together, they really should be put in jail for insurance fraud. It's one of the most egregious things you can do to somebody is put an artificial knee into them or artificial hip, do back surgery on them. Give us at Youngevity 90 days, because with the 90 for Life program and the secret sauce we call glucogel, if somebody's allergic to shellfish, they can actually use Fucoid Z. It's made from a red marine algae. It will do the same thing as glucogel, but does not have any shellfish in it, so there's two options there. If they're allergic to shellfish, they can use Cal Toddy, CalToddy, like hot toddy, instead of the OsteoFX Plus as a source of these nutrients. And they will support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone matrix, bone itself, and you throw in what we call killer biotic, which has 8 herbs in it that support the immune system and actually have antimicrobial properties, and throw that in for the rheumatoid arthritis. We've seen people with terrible deformities from rheumatoid arthritis for 23 years, Andre, and in 1 year's time they're playing concert piano. You just can't believe it. It's so simple. And orthopedic surgeons are good carpenters. They can do the carpentry thing, but they really don't understand bones. They really don't understand arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and back problems. So we as parents and grandparents, uncles and aunts, we've got to take over here and save our kids from actually being abused by orthopedic surgeons.
Wow. I tell you, Doc. Now, you spoke earlier about cholesterol. It's a big misconception and how it has a connection to Alzheimer's. If you could just share that, because I think that's going to help a lot of people on this line, guys. And keep in mind, please take good notes, take great notes, and we'll make sure we give you some directions later. But please take great notes and help a family member. So, Doc, cholesterol and how it relates.
Okay, well, thank you, Andre. Well, cholesterol is an essential nutrient, just like vitamin A and vitamin C and omega-3s, calcium. Cholesterol is an essential nutrient. It's required by your body to make hormones. Testosterone, if you want erectile dysfunction, get on a low-cholesterol diet and take cholesterol-lowering drugs. You will have, there'll be nobody home. If you want to go through menopause and really suffer in menopause, estrogen and progesterone are steroid hormones. You need to eat 6 eggs a day. You guys need to eat 6 to 8 eggs a day if you want to have testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. By the way, women make testosterone too. That's where their sex drive, that's where their libido comes from. And many women complain about lack of libido during menopause. And it's not only because of lack of estrogen and progesterone, but it's a lack of testosterone. Not enough to give them the beard so they can get a job as a bearded lady in the circus, but they need enough testosterone to have sex drive. You need to eat those eggs, eat butter, cook in butter, cook in lard. Don't fry in lard, but you can bake with it. That's how the French cook. They bake in lard. Stay away from the oils again. Stay away from margarines. And normal cholesterol runs from 220 to 270, 220, 270. And a lot of doctors here would say 199. Oh, we got to get it down there to below 100. And people, okay. You want to die early, you get your cholesterol below 220, you will. Now, as Andre pointed out, in addition to not being able to make hormones, adrenal hormones, testicular hormones, ovarian hormones, but also you need cholesterol to make myelin. Myelin is the fatty insulation material of the brain, makes up 75% of your brain weight. In common terms, it's known as the white matter of the brain. The gray matter, which does your thinking and your memory and your problem solving, only makes up about 2% of your brain weight. The white matter, the insulation material, the myelin, makes up 75% of your brain weight, and the myelin is 100% cholesterol. And so if you go on a cholesterol-restricted diet, you're eating egg beaters instead of eggs. In fact, egg beaters were built for the baby boomers. It's a huge market. 80 million baby boomers come along, and they all wanted to get on egg beaters so they could eat what they thought was a fall egg and not get the negatives of cholesterol. Well, that was going the wrong direction. Right now, there's an epidemic of Alzheimer's disease in baby boomers because they all got eating egg beaters, egg white omelets, tofu instead of red meat. They're cooking in margarine and oils instead of butter and cream and lard. They're eating boneless, skinless chicken breast. They're taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, Lipitor and other such drugs. In fact, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, just came out about a month ago and said there's an alert, there's a major warning that these cholesterol-lowering drugs actually cause Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and they also increase your risk of diabetes by 50%. Do not take cholesterol-lowering drugs. Even the FDA is now warning against them. Although your doctor still gets kickbacks by every time you fulfill a prescription. And remember, elevated blood cholesterol does not cause any single disease, none. And you want to get enough cholesterol that you would be the equivalent of eating, say 10 to 25 eggs a day. So the safest way to do it, eat your eggs every day. I try to eat 8 to 10 eggs a day. I usually get in 6 to 8, but on the weekends I can get 8 to 10. I like them poached. I can go into a Denny's. I can go into an IHOP. I can go into any breakfast restaurant and order my eggs poached. I throw in some salsa. I can even go into McDonald's, and they'll scramble me eggs and butter and put some cheese on it. I'll get 4 of those along with my supplements. What a great way to start the day. Cholesterol, again, causes erectile dysfunction, menopause, adrenal exhaustion, and why would anybody want to have any of those problems? And you can control it. You avoid all those problems. That you can avoid Alzheimer's disease, according to Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, by 78% just by eating right and supplementing with vitamins and minerals. You're going to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease by 78%. That came out in 2004.
Wow. Wow, Doc, and I can tell you, man, this is great information. Another thing that they always say is high blood pressure. Does high blood pressure, high blood pressure runs in my family. Yes, it does. And they just accept it, and doctors plague on that. And, we know now that nothing is genetic. And if you could just talk to high blood pressure, I think that would be effective for the folks on the line.
Okay. Well, first of all, high blood pressure is not genetic in any race. That doesn't matter if you're black or white or yellow or red. High blood pressure is a simple mineral disease, 89% of the cases. People who are on dialysis and have kidney failure, the glomeruli, the little filtering units in the kidney, will release a hormone called renin, R-E-N-I-N, which drives your blood pressure up, hoping to get more dirty blood into the kidney so the kidney can do its job. When you have kidney failure, there's nothing wrong with your kidney, but the little artery, the afferent artery that carries the blood into the filtering unit is plugged. So we learned how to get blood flowing through that little blocked artery. Again, help you start at 90 for life according to body weight. You throw in what we call ultimate daily tablets, and they, according to body weight, and they will support blood flow through in blocked arteries, including little aeronautics, to help people reduce their dialysis from 8 dialysis treatments a week to 2, and then to none. And then, of course, blood pressure comes right down, even ones that are thought to be genetic. When you have what is considered a genetic high blood pressure because the medications will cause your kidney ultimate daily, you have to add it to the 90 for life, your blood pressure will come down. You cannot fail to lower your blood pressure. It will come down. And most blood pressure medications have many, many side effects. Some of them have as many as 100 side effects, negative, including death. And so you want to make sure if a doctor prescribes a blood pressure-lowering medication for you, you want to ask the pharmacist to print out, before you even buy the prescription, and have them print out a list of the side effects. Now, here's the beauty of our dark chocolate, either as Cocogivity Plus, the liquid, 3,000 ORAC points per ounce, plus it has flavonols in there to lower blood pressure. Even the Journal of the American Medical Association, in a special issue, August, let's see, I think it was August 23rd, 2003, came out and said flavonols in dark chocolate lower blood pressure. And so that's when we came out with the Cocogivity, and we've added some extra antioxidants to it, so we call it Cocogivity Plus. And then, of course, our triple treat chocolate and our triple truffle chocolate also has the flavonols in there to help lower blood pressure, plus the added value of PEAs, phenylethylamines, which are the love chemical. Don't just give chocolate for Valentine's Day, guys. Give chocolate every day to your ladies, and guess what? Not only will you get their blood pressure down, but they're going to love you a lot more.
Wow. Now, and Doc, I tell you, one thing I want to go at right now is that C word, that infamous C word, that's one of the biggest diseases out there, that they said that was genetic as well, and people have just accepted that way of life. But if you could just share what we could do to help prevent, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Andre. Well, cancer is not genetic. Cancer is either indirectly or directly a self-inflicted disease. Again, as we pointed out earlier, event here, I'm going to call it an event because when you have more than 50 people, it's an event. This is an event. I really appreciate you guys. You did a great job. Well, cancer is, again, a self-inflicted or indirectly or directly disease. You avoid the bad stuff and you'll never get cancer. How do we know this? Because we raise animals that used to have a lot of cancer, and we put them on a bad stuff-free diet. We give them the 90 for life appropriate for their body weight, and they just don't get cancer. We triple their lifespan because they don't get cancer. And so you have to avoid the fried foods. You have to avoid the oils. You have to avoid the trans fatty acids. You have to avoid the processed meats with nitrates and nitrites. One big study out of the University of South Carolina came out in 1998, a large group of women, and they said that women who ate their meat cooked well done, where the fat was burnt or even browned, if the fat was browned, and increased the risk of breast cancer by 462% compared to women who ate their meat medium or medium rare. We know from Dr. Schrauzer's research with selenium, you can reduce the risk by 82% by supplementing with 200 micrograms of selenium. We know in men you can reduce the risk of prostate cancer by 69% from the University of Arizona by supplementing with 200 micrograms of selenium. We knew this since 1812. Oh, let me back up. 1912. I keep wanting to push it back. It was actually 1912. April of 1912, there was a very large article out in Popular Mechanics. Now, why was this article in Popular Mechanics? That's because it was a nutritional article, and the medical journals wouldn't let them publish it in it. Well, in Popular Mechanics in 1912, there was an article in there that said a special mineral, subchemicals called it, will reverse cancer in laboratory animals. That was in 1912. And then later in the article it said it was selenium, the trace mineral selenium, and you could reverse cancer and prevent cancer in laboratory animals by selenium. That was in 1912. Well, doctors should have jumped all over that in 1912, and they dismissed it because of nutrition. Medical doctors, Andre, in 14 years of medical school and 5 years of residency, don't get 30 minutes of nutritional training. Anytime a medical doctor gives nutritional advice, they should be handcuffed and put in jail for a Class A felony every time they say the first two letters of the word nutrition. If they say NUT, they should be cuffed and put in jail. And here's why. Every time they say something about nutrition, they cause millions of human deaths. Any doctor who says, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need, you don't need to supplement, should be put in jail. Any doctor who doesn't put, any OBGYN who doesn't put every little girl who comes in for a conference when they have their first cycle, they bring them in to talk to the OBGYN or maybe even get a physic. Every woman that comes in who's of the childbearing years and sexually active should be taking the 90 essential nutrients to prevent birth defects. Anytime a doctor says, oh, you need to stay away from vitamins and minerals, don't eat eggs, stay out of the sun because you're going to get skin cancer, guess what? Right now, everybody in America has a vitamin D3 deficiency, and every doctor wants you to spend $300 for each your values, see if you're deficient. Well, you know you're deficient if you follow the doctor's directions, because the doctor made everybody in America vitamin D3 deficient. Doctors send people to sleep clinics knowing that 100% of them go to a sleep disorder because it is normal behavior. They're treating people with surgery, with drugs, Ambien, throat surgery. They're also putting them on the CPAP machine for thousands of dollars, all for a normal behavior. Sleep apnea is a normal behavior. Watch a baby sleep. Watch a dog sleep. They all stop breathing every half hour for about a minute or two because the carbon dioxide level goes below a certain line in their blood. Breathing, when you're sleeping, is directly tied to the carbon dioxide levels in your blood. When it builds up again, it goes above the line, you begin to breathe again. So any doctor who says you have sleep apnea, it's a disease, should be put in jail for fraud, for insurance fraud. Let's see here, what else? Again, erectile dysfunction, they put all these drugs. Really, you just need to eat 6 eggs a day. There was one great article in the New England Journal of Medicine back in 1991. This 88-year-old guy was eating 25 eggs a day, Andre, and the doctors asked him, this is Harvard Medical School. Now, they said, okay, buddy, well, you're 88 years old. Why are you eating 25 eggs a day? And he says, because it makes me so steadily, I don't need Viagra.
Wow. And I'm glad you said that because so many folks are running around and Viagra is getting paid all because I really believe that them binding to the medical system's way is just not working. Doc, I've got to get into obesity. I mean, obesity, you have all these weight loss companies, you have all these folks that have the next greatest diet and everything, and everybody's running towards these companies. If you can help and speak on obesity, that would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Andre. Of course, we spend more money for health care each year than all the other nations of the world combined. Not more than any nation, more than all nations combined. The only health category we're number one in is obesity. 2 months ago, our CDC, our Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, the federal agency, came out and said that America is the most obese nation in the world. We have a bigger percentage of overweight and obese people in the world than any other nation, yet we spend more money for health care. We have more people belonging to gyms. We have more people doing Jenny Craig and Nutrisystem TV, and everybody's jogging around the high school track. Everybody's walking. Everybody's eating more whole grains, and everybody's getting fat. And the reason is obesity is not a disease of excess, and obesity is not a disease of lack of exercise. Obesity is a nutritional deficiency. Certain nutritional deficiencies cause people to have cravings, the munchies. In animals, we call it pica or cribbing. Sometimes doctors will call babies who have these cravings pica, and they'll eat really weird things, like the Tootsie Rolls out of the kitty litter box. They'll eat dirt. They'll eat dust bunnies from behind the chairs. They will eat some really weird stuff. I have one article on a little girl from Terre Haute, Indiana, that ate light bulbs. And taking the Happy Meal toy away is not going to keep kids from getting overweight. There's no calories in the toy in the Happy Meal, first of all. And secondly, is a deficiency disease. Even Loyola University in Chicago came out in January of 2009 and said exercise won't help you lose weight. And again, in the cover article, Time Magazine in August of 2009 said exercise may be good for you. They said may be good for you, but certainly does not help you lose weight. And here's why. When you exercise, Andre, you sweat, don't you? And again, we know that athletes die because they lose these nutrients. They die suddenly from a selenium or copper deficiency. But also you lose these basic nutrients over and over and over, and you begin to eat more. And you burn 150 calories in an hour's exercise session. You sweat out all these nutrients. You feel extremely hungry. And you go out and you have an espresso latte, mocha, poca, doka, loca, schmoka, 800 calories, you gain a half a pound. Pregnant women, the babies are stealing nutrients from them faster than they're taking them in because the OB/GYNs are a prenatal vitamin with 8 minerals in it instead of 60, and they gain that 30 to 50 pounds of baby fat, which they never get rid of. That's because they never supplement with the 90 Essential Nutrients and 90 for Life program. And so you get on our 90 for Life program, appropriate for body weight, one healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. You throw in the Slender FX weight management system, which has meal replacers, no sugar, so it's good for diabetics, 80 calories per meal, has cleanses, has gluten-free, water-soluble fiber, and it also has sweeties in it to help ramp up metabolism and help you deal with the metabolism of carbohydrates, sugar, and fats more quickly. And then I want you to take ASAP. ASAP means as slim as possible. That's an add-on. It's not a freestanding thing. Don't do it by itself. You put one dropper under your tongue before each of your meals, so it'll be 3 times a day, and you will lose weight and keep it off. You cannot fail. You will lose weight. On the program will always ask me, well, okay, well, after I get down to my ideal weight and I've lost my 40 pounds, I've lost my 67 pounds, whatever it is, when can I get off of the program? Well, the answer is never, because when do you get off of oxygen? When do you get off of water? When you're dead. When do you get off of the 90 essential nutrients? When you're dead. These are not the 90 optional nutrients, Andre. These are the 90 essential nutrients. You eat properly, you supplement properly, you get all your 90 essential nutrients, including the 60 essential minerals. And I want people to get the book called Hell's Kitchen. It gives you all the details, all the references, because we figured this out in the animal industry a long time ago. People who have a belly that they can't get rid of, well, when you eat bread made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats, you're going to get a grain belly. You're going to get a bread belly. And no matter how much whole grain you eat, you're going to gain more weight and you're going to get a big belly. So you have to give up whole grains. Do not eat whole grains. Oh, and that, again, that's one of the greatest frauds, again, next to cholesterol, perpetuated against American people. That's why we're the #1 obese nation in the world, because everybody who thinks they know something says eat more whole grains, and how do you fatten cattle to make prime beef? Feed them whole grains. Read the book, Hell's Kitchen, and you will be amazed about the truth.
Wow, and I'm glad you said Hell's Kitchen, because I had that right in front of me, guys. If you want any of the materials, please go on to www.wellnesspublications.com. Again, www.wellnesspublications.com. And Dead Doctors Don't Lie, that book is there. So more books than Thriller and the Beatles. Let's Play Doctors there, Hell's Kitchen. Immortality, Black Genes Lies. I mean, all these books, folks, all these books are right on this website, so please write it down. I told you to have notes. www.wellnesspublications.com. And then also, before I get to the next question, Doc, we also have Doc Wallach, and we have a big 90 for Life National Crusade Tour, July 21st at the Baltimore Convention Center. So this is where you get your churches, you bust your large organizations, you have a family reunion July 21st, because this is going to change the scape of your family forever. And see, once you know this information on this line, then it's almost criminal if you don't share it. It's probably a 5th-degree murder if you don't share it, because once I had this information, I said, I have to get it out to all these individuals. And so, Doc, we appreciate you July 21st. But I can tell you one thing that I have to ask you, because this has been coming up so much, is aneurysms. I mean, people have been just flat out dropping out from aneurysms. If you could just share that, and then next we'll talk about MS after aneurysms. So go ahead, the floor is yours, Doc.
Okay, well, in 1947, people really began to put turkeys on the table for Thanksgiving, and they were ramping up and selling turkeys like crazy. But because they were feeding turkeys chicken food, there wasn't enough copper in it, and they were all dying of ruptured aortic aneurysms. So it didn't take long, a couple of weeks, to figure out that the ruptured aortic aneurysms in turkeys were caused by a copper deficiency. They put the extra copper in the turkey food, stopped it in 1947. Well, today is one of the biggest causes of vascular death, sudden death, is a ruptured aneurysm in the brain, coronary artery aneurysm, aortic aneurysm, pulmonary artery aneurysm. And these are simple copper deficiencies. And some of the other symptoms of copper deficiency are white, gray, and silver hair, spider veins, varicose veins, and hemorrhoids, which are just varicose veins in a funny place. And I actually have hundreds and hundreds of people each year who were able to reverse their aortic aneurysms or brain aneurysms when they get diagnosed with them. And the physician will say, well, it's a 3.5 centimeter aneurysm. We'll just watch it. When it gets up to 5, we'll do a prosthesis. We'll put an artificial aorta in there. Well, we're able to reverse them back down to normal. Actually, had 2 people with ruptured aneurysms who didn't have a complete rupture. They had what's called a dissecting aneurysm, and they're flourishing today. One of them is Bernie Owens, who's one of our associates from Elmira, New York. And then there's actually a billionaire from New York, and I won't give out his name, but there's a billionaire from New York. He's in his mid-70s, and he had what his doctor called a terminal inoperable 7-centimeter, which is about a 3-inch diameter aortic aneurysm, and it was just too big to anesthetize him and do the surgery on him. And they said, everybody with aneurysms this size never live for a year. You're done. Get your businesses into your kids, your brothers and sisters' hands, because this is it. You got time to, you might die tonight, but you're certainly not going to live a year. Well, he accidentally ran into one of my audio cassette tapes, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, in a antique store. He bought it. He listened to it several times. He called the company, and they didn't know who he was, so they put him under one of our people who has a large business in New York, and they helped him with the minerals in the 90 for Life program. In 3 months' time, he went in just for a checkup with his doctor, and his aneurysm was gone. It had gone away. The 7-centimeter terminal inoperable aneurysm went away in just 3 months. Now, of course, he's one of our best friends now, and he actually comes to a lot of our meetings. We do a lot of stuff with him in New York, and he is just one of our greatest supporters. All of his employees, all of his family members, and we're actually working with some countries now because of him, because we were able to do something for him when his best buddy, who was his personal physician, his golf partner, his tennis partner, who I guess the doctor thought his what should I say, his source of income was going to be over here because this billionaire was going to die, and we've actually reversed this guy's aneurysm. His son's AFib, we got rid of that, and of course all his partner, who is for many years his business partner, we got rid of his diabetes in just a month, and so this guy's one of our best buddies, best supporters right now. Aneurysms are easy to prevent, easy to reverse.
Rightfully so. You're my best buddy. I'll tell you that much. MS, Doc, a lot of folks walking around, I've seen what you've done in a short amount of time with the folks that I know that have MS, and so if you can share that, then I'll go to the next.
Sure. Well, MS, Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, Parkinson's disease are actually the same disease. It's just by random chance which part of the brain is damaged, same kind of damage, but it's just random which part of the brain is damaged will result in a different disease. And I've seen people with all 3 diseases, MS, Lou Gehrig's disease, which is also known as ALS, and then Parkinson's disease. First of all, they got to get rid of the ongoing damage. So no fried foods, no processed meats, no nitrates and nitrites, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. They have to live like an Oriental. They have to go to the grocery stores and go into the gluten-free aisles and learn how to live gluten-free. Everybody in the household has got to be gluten-free because they can't even have the dust in the house. And then what you have to do is make sure that you eat, depending on body weight, a minimum of 8 to 10 eggs a day. If you're over 200 pounds, one should eat 12 to 15 eggs a day. This is to replace the myelin, the white matter again in the brain, just like with Alzheimer's disease. You need to eat 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 eggs a day, depending on your body weight. Not fried, not over easy, not sunny side up. The yolk has to be soft, so it's 1 minute boiled eggs, 1 minute poached eggs, 1 minute, or you can soft scramble them in butter. And then the 90 for life, appropriate for body weight. Throw in the selenium. Again, per 100 pounds of body weight, I'd throw in 2 of the selenium twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. The de-stress capsules, 2 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. I would also throw in the Smart FX, 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. And then get the ORIC points above 100,000. You can do that with 6 of our triple treat chocolate a day, 2 at breakfast, 2 at lunch, 2 at dinner. If they don't like chocolate or they're allergic to it, they can have our Cell Shield RTQ capsules, 5 of those twice a day. All that will get them above 100,000 ORIC points a day, and all that stuff just goes away.
Wow. Wow. And Doc, I can tell you, I'm so fired. I want to make sure people understand that it's www.wellnesspublications with the S on the end, .com, guys. I'm telling you, those servers are getting packed. They said, Andre, please, I need to get these books. And so www.wellnesspublications.com. And one of the major things that I hear you saying, Doc, is that no matter what secret sauce we have for any of the ailments that we have, we always need the 90 for life. And we've been saying the 90 for life, but we have not said exactly what is the 90 for life. So if you could just share the 90 for life real quick, and then we're going to one or two more questions, and we're going to let the folks go and get their products and get on the 90 for life crusade. So go ahead.
We know, again, from over 100 years of animal studies, and maybe that long in human studies, that we require all vertebrates, whether you're a hummingbird or a human or an elephant or a snake, a fish or a rat, it doesn't matter. All vertebrates require 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids. It actually comes to 91, but there's some discussion on whether there's 3 essential fatty acids or 2, so it's easier to say 90 than 91, so we call it the mighty 90, the 90 for life. And there's many different ways to do this. Of course, you can do it with the Pig Pack, the Pig Pack Plus. In the early days, it began to name our formula programs for animals, the Ferret Fat Pack for weight loss programs, and so on. Because I'm a veterinarian by trade. I was a veterinarian before I was a physician, and so it made sense to me to let people know that there is a certain background in the animal industry with these programs to get the 90 essential nutrients into every vertebrate we know, whether it's a farm animal, a pet animal, or a laboratory animal, or a wild animal. Now, we've become more sophisticated over the years, of course, and it took us 5 years to do the technology of the NutriCrystals for the Beyond Tangerine. It's the same or a similar technology as the coffee crystals. It instantizes. It has 245 nutrients in its product, 115 super juices, 115 super juices. And we're talking about antioxidant power here. And then, of course, it has 130 vitamins, minerals, amino acids. You do have to add the omega-3s. We like these EFA pluses, the fish oils. Actually sued the FDA in federal court over that and prevailed, where you can say that you can reduce the risk of thrombotic stroke, coronary thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis by supplementing with the omega-3s from fish oil. So I really love that product, the EFA pluses. And of course, OsteoFX Plus has about 100 nutrients in it, including the 77 certified organic plant minerals, including some really weird rare earths that it would cost you $2,000 a day to try and find it and take it as a single supplement. I'm really, really proud of ytterbium, yttrium, neodymium, praseodymium, europium, these types of things that actually add many healthy years to your life. It has 1,200 milligrams of calcium, a liquid colloidal chelate calcium per ounce, 400 international units of vitamin D3. And if you want to throw in, again, the triple truffle chocolate, each piece has 500 milligrams of usable calcium and 1,000 international units of vitamin D3. So every day I take in 6 triple truffle chocolates and 6 triple treat chocolates, and as well as the standard Mighty 90, the 90 for life. And in a basic form, I've been doing this for 64 years. It'll be in June. It'll be coming on 65 years I've been doing this, Andre. I haven't been sick other than, I think I had a cold twice in 64 years, soon to be 65 years. Never been to a doctor with me being sick. Never been on a prescription drug. And, of course, I plan on living to be well beyond 300. I'm going for Methuselah's record, 969 in one day, because I want to show medical doctors that it can be done.
Wow. Wow. And Doc, people don't realize that you're 72 years old.
I'll be my 73rd year here in 2 months.
In 2 months, and you do 300 free lectures every single year, and you stay on the road, and so we commend you. So it's just a testament. I've seen you in front of rooms for 8-9 hours at a time, and without a single break, is because you're a perfect example of what all of us are striving to be. And so